It's number 27 on page 70 of our homework, and it says to show algebraically that f and g are inverse functions. And to do that, we're going to use composition of functions, because I know that if I take f of x and I plug in g of x, so f of g of x, then everything is going to get canceled out and I'll be left with just x. Also, if I do g of f of x, the same thing will happen and I'll be left with just x. So first let's do f of g of x. So f of x is negative 6x plus 3. So that means take the input, multiply it by negative 6, and add 3. So f of g of x would be negative 6, and instead of writing x, I'm going to write g of x, which is 3 minus x over 6. So 3 minus x over 6. And then finally I just need this plus 3. Plus, well, didn't change colors, oh well, plus 3. Okay, so I've taken g of x, f of x, which is negative 6x plus 3, and I've replaced the x with what g was, which was 3 minus x over 6. Alright, now comes the fun part. Just start canceling. So this 6 cancels with this 6, but be careful here, I still have a negative. So that's negative 3 minus x plus 3. Now let's distribute this negative sign. Negative 3. Now negative times negative x becomes positive x plus 3. Combine like terms, negative 3 and positive 3 cancel out, and I'm left with just x, which means that f and g are inverses. But let's go the other way. Let's see what happens when I take f of x and I plug it into g of x. So g says make a fraction, and it's 3 minus the input over 6. So instead of the input just being a lowly old x, now the input's going to be negative 6x plus 3. Negative 6x plus 3. Alright, let's see what that brings us. First, let's distribute the negative. So it is, let's switch back to blue, 3 minus negative 6 becomes plus 6x. Negative times 3 becomes negative 3 all over 6. That's an x. In the numerator, positive 3 and negative 3 cancel. That gives me 6x over 6. The 6's cancel. And once again, let me get an eraser here. Once again, I am left with just x, which demonstrates that f and g are inverses. Alright, that's number 27 on page 70.